Hi, this short video is going to show you how you can very quickly build scorecards in Scoreboard using the web-based tool Connect. So the first thing we do in the Scoreboard product is log in, and we're taken to the user bookmark page. In the upper left-hand corner we choose our module, and in this case it's going to be Scorecards. We're going to have scorecards for the corporate level, Sales Division and Sales Support, Services Division and Services Support, and P&L. You'll notice that because all these are grey, there are no existing scorecards for this organisation. We're going to build these scorecards using Excel. The first thing we're going to do is show you how to get to a scorecard structure that the application can read. We'll take a P&L as an example. What we're looking at here is an actual export of a P&L from a QuickBooks accounting system. You can see that it's divided into key performance areas: income, expenses, total expenses, net operating income, and net income. However, you'll see that they're all in one column, and these are actual numbers, not budget numbers. So the first thing we do is create something that is easier for a computer to read, and represents budget data. In this case we have a company called Technology Inc. They have their key performance areas on their P&L, their P&L categories, and their budget numbers. So we're still not at a stage where the application is going to understand this. Now you may remember from the Building Scorecards Manually video that we're going to have to tell the application how to interpret the information on the scorecard. And it relates to these columns at the top here. So we're going to have to tell it where it fits, what organisation does it attach to. In this case it's not going to attach to Technology Inc., it's going to attach to something called the P&L scorecard. The scorecard root name is going to be called Profit and Loss Budget. The next column is key performance areas. We have income, expenses, other income, total. And KPIs, they're all of the categories on the scorecard. So the next thing that we have to tell the application is how to aggregate the data. So for example, when we're looking at monthly numbers aggregated into a quarter, do we add them, do we average them, or do we leave them as they are because they might already be aggregated? On a P&L, it's clear that everything is already aggregated. Now we have to choose our data type. We support 3 different kinds of data: currency, number, and percentage. Here everything is currency. The next column is scoring type. You can see some examples here. We've got goal red flag and goal only. Let's create a new scorecard just so we can quickly review the scoring categories. So here we have 9 different ways to create a normalized score. A normalized score is a way that we can create a grade point average for looking at aggregate performance. We use a 10-point scale, and each one of these scoring types allocates a score between 0 and 10 based upon target numbers. Yes/No is simply either 0 or 10, nothing in between. Same for goal only, either 0 or 10. To colour, you're going to have a score of either 0, 5, or 10. So you have 3 thresholds. Goal red flag is a little different because you assign a value that causes the performance to turn red and a value that causes it to turn green. The value that you have set to turn the performance red is labelled as 3.33 by the application, and the value for turning it green is labelled as 6.66. The difference between these 2 values is then placed at either end, so the application now has values that can be labelled 0 and 10. All the other scoring types work in a similar way. You assign the values to where the performance changes colour. When we label the scoring types in a spreadsheet, we need to use the exact words on this chart. So now we're back on our spreadsheet. The next column we have is calendar. This is basically how often we update these measures, and we update our P&L monthly. Just like scoring types, you must use the name of the calendar as it appears in Scoreboard. If you're not sure about calendars, then please do have a look at the calendars video. This column here, higher better, relates to the goal-only scoring type. If we've selected goal-only as a scoring type, then we need to tell the application whether a higher value is going to be good or bad. So, for example, for revenue, higher is always better, but for expenses, higher is going to be worse. These last two columns are our threshold values. These are the points at which the performance changes colour. So for goal-only scoring types, we have just one value, but for goal-red flag, we have two. So now that we've created this spreadsheet, how does the application read it? This is where we look at the application called Connect. Log into Connect, and we'll see that there's nothing in Connect at the moment. So we need to create something new, and in this case we're going to create a new P&L scorecard. We're not going to update metric values, we're going to build a scorecard. So we'll navigate to our spreadsheet file, open, and upload it. Once it's uploaded, it becomes the source of our scorecard. Now you'll notice that because I've named the headers correctly, the application recognises them and matches them up for me. If I had headers that the application didn't recognise, then there'd be a blank space and you'd need to drag and drop the header onto the spreadsheet. The next thing we have to do is tell Connect where we want to create the scorecard. I click on the organisation node and it shows up here, P&L scorecard. Then I say OK, and we move on to mapping. We want the Technology Inc. Profit and Loss scorecard. OK, save it, and click Run Now. It says successful, which means that when we go back to the application and look at the P&L scorecard node, the entire scorecard is there. And here we have it, we've completely created the P&L scorecard, and we're ready to start importing data. Now let's look at a more complicated example, a set of scorecards. Here I have a set of scorecards that spans several departments within a company. I have the corporate scorecard, where my key performance areas are financial, customer, internal processes, and learning and growth, the typical balanced scorecard perspectives. I have objectives that I want to accomplish in each area. I have KPIs, as well as some information on the calendar, aggregation, and data type. In this column we have some more complicated scoring types, such as 4-colour blue. This means that we're going to have 5 threshold values, in this case 5%, 10%, 15%, 20%, and 25%. And as we scroll down, you can see that I have multiple scorecards for different parts of the organisation. Now I'm going back to Connect, and I'm going to create a new corporate division scorecard. I'm not going to update metric values, I'm going to build a scorecard. I'm once again going to browse to my spreadsheet file and upload it. Click OK, and then I go to my source data. As you can see, the application has automatically mapped each one of the pieces of information that Scoreboard needs in order to create the scorecards. Now we click OK and choose our destination. Click on Corporate and all the scorecards appear here. We already have a P&L scorecard, so we'll just remove that. And finally, we move on to mapping. It's mapped all my scorecards except one, and that's just because I've accidentally given it the wrong name. It's not really a problem, we can just simply drag and drop, and there we are. Click Save. Run now. The import runs, it says successful, and now there's a scorecard for every single organisation node. And it's as simple as that. All you need to do is have the correct structure in your spreadsheets and the correct column headers. Once that's done, you're ready to go. Thanks for watching, see you next time.